Yo, what's up, everyone? I'm your host, Jeremiah, here back with another video, and today I have for you a lesson of reaction videos. Now, I've been binge watching some of these videos, and I have to say, I really enjoy them. I like them. I love them. It's like what it teaches videos. I enjoy them. What I'm not going to keep you guys waiting any longer. That intro was weird. I don't know why I said it like that, but without any further ado, let's get into it.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go.
All right.
Told you that one of the realest love stories in
maybe that-
Adventure Time was
Let's
What
go.
if I told you that one of the realest love stories in Adventure Time was barely a love story at all?
How?
No betrayal, no dramatic breakup. Just a boy who mistook kindness for something more.
Please, princess, just stick it in your mouth.
And a princess
Pause.
who never gave him a
Wait.
clear answer.
Wait. I still don't know why Adventure Time was like that. I know it wasn't exactly a kid's show, but I don't remember the context behind that scene whatsoever. I promise you, I do not remember the context behind that. Oops.
Well, okay.
This is what Finn and Princess Bubblegum teach us about one-sided love, emotional growth, and why sometimes your crush doesn't say no, they say maybe. Just long enough for you to drown in your own hope. In the beginning of Adventure Time, there was just a boy, a sword, and a princess made of bubblegum. From the moment Finn meets Princess Bubblegum, it's clear he's all in. She's everything he's not. Older, smarter, in charge of an entire kingdom. And yet, she still smiles at him like he matters. And that's all he needs. In Slumber Party
All right. Firstly, it wasn't just Finn mistaking her kindness. There's been genuinely times where Princess Bubblegum have seemed to like Finn, but she turns out she didn't. And that whole part when she turned to a 13-year-old and she actually liked them. It was weird. Princess Bubblegum is a horrible person, and she knew how Phil felt, and she actively used him over and over again. And most people would be like, "Hey, y'all never said y'all were together. You never said that you was in a committed relationship." But at the same time, you don't know what it's like. You really don't know what it's like until you've been in that situation yourself. You wouldn't know what it's like to be hurt or like that unless you actually experience that, like some people have, including me. I'm just saying.
Panic, the very first episode, we get the blueprint. Finn messes up. PB scolds him. Then she forgives him in a playful way.
Oh, you are adorable.
It's sweet and innocent, but to Finn, it's a sign. Every mission after that becomes a chance to prove himself. He throws himself headfirst into danger, saves her people, and dreams about her. In To Cut a Woman's Hair, he even has a date with PB, which she seemingly enjoys.
We're gonna have a spaghetti dinner.
Whoa, really? Where do we sit?
Because to Finn, love is about effort. If he tries hard enough, if he's heroic enough, maybe she'll feel the same.
Hey, Simon, make it romantic.
And very early on in the series, this does seem to be somewhat working.
Hold on, that episode wasn't exactly about him going on a date with PB. He wanted a task to collect all the hair from all the different princesses. That one wasn't necessarily a date, but I see where you're coming from.
PB even admits she likes Finn.
Princess, do you like me?
Of course I like you.
But when Finn tries asking her on a date,
Hi, princess. Would you go to couples movie night with me?
Sounds romantic, Finn.
she says she's not available.
Oh, sorry, Finn. I'm busy practicing for the Whistling Choir Deathmatch Championship.
Now, keep in mind, she's not saying no to the idea of the date directly, she's saying no because she has something else planned, making it very vague to Finn whether it's rejection or postponement. So, Finn sees this as a sign to try harder yet again. He gets Jake's advice to use Marceline and make PB jealous, which doesn't work out. In doing so, we see PB actually practicing her whistling, just like she said, so there's no reason for Finn to think she made up some lame excuse not to go on a date with him. which leads him to try even harder. He puts on a loot suit, and it works.
Finn, that is hilarious. Oh, you are killing me.
Now, as the saying goes, if you can make her laugh and giggle, you can make them cheeks clap.
Pause. I don't know what he means in cheeks clap, but pause. This is why I don't like Bubblegum. She was mad confusing in the beginning of the season. She kept showing these weird signs that, hey, you like me. Hey, you're the only person that make me feel safe. Hey, you like me. It's just complicated. It was just complicated in the beginning, and it was just generally hard to understand what the heck was actually going on. Like in general, you feel me? It I'm just saying you will never know what it's like until you're actually there to experience being hurt over and over again and to experience falling for someone who you perceive as liking you back, but for some reason they don't like you.
And jiggle. Finn's in the right spot here. Until he takes Marceline's advice and fumbles yet again.
So, headlock!
Guards!
That moment was one of the first turning points in their situationship, as from this moment on, cracks start becoming more and more obvious. Phoebe is affectionate, but not consistent. She gives Finn a sweater that she made herself and tells Finn she cares about him.
I'm not great at knitting, but please wear it. I care about you, Finn.
And with the affection of that sweater, Finn is able to defeat the Lich later.
This sweater, it's keeping me safe.
But to PB, it's the kind of love you give a dog for bringing back your slipper. Grateful, proud, just not romantic. And that's what makes it confusing. She's warm, forgiving, and never says stop. So Finn keeps going, like we have all done in real life, completely wearing ourselves out in the process emotionally. Which raises the question, when should you stop or give up? You tell yourself you're not
You know, I had experience in that I didn't really necessarily stop until I actually like, hey yo, you's kind of an ass. You're kind of a whole person. And I tried to explain how I was actually feeling. And she told me, well, she doesn't really care. You don't necessarily recover from something like that. You kind of just move on. And I'm not gonna lie, I still sometimes think about her every once in a while. I know I go and stalk her social media page every, once in a while. And it's kind of hard sometimes. It's kind of complicated sometimes, but I can sympathize that. I know what it's like to be in that type of situationship. It's just, hard. And to hear people say they would pick abusers. Like I had people tell me that they would pick people who abuses them over me. The only person they felt safe with is their abuser. But then when you get to me, you said you felt safe, but it turns out everything you ever told me, you were literally you were lying to me. Like over the constant lies over and over and over again. And sometimes it I guess it's a way of perspective. You can mistake kindness and genuine friendship for love or romantic love, and you can mistake someone not caring for you for love at all, and that love could slowly turn into hatred, which is two sides of the same coin, I guess.
going to message her again. How she can be the one that sends you a message for a change, and if she doesn't, you'll detach yourself emotionally and let her go slowly. And right when you do that is when everything becomes even more confusing than before. Exactly that is what happens to Finn, but luckily,
Yeah.
Adventure Time also shows us how we can deal with situations like these. After the events of Mortal Recoil, Princess Bubblegum gets physically de-aged to the same age as Finn.
She's 13 years old now.
Oh, dang it! Well, I'm out of here. Goodbye, everyone.
Everything
You know what? At least Ice King isn't a pedophile. You can respect him for that. Seriously, I don't even know if Ice King knew what he was doing, but I don't know why. This is why Simon slash Ice King will always be my favorite character. He's amazing. I don't care what anybody say.
changes. Suddenly, their emotional wavelengths match.
Give me a hug, hero.
She's no longer the older, more mature royal.
No, look at this. Look how everybody is looking. Look how everybody looking at her. They like, especially him, like, oh nah, she likes him. Marshmallow dude's just happy to be there. This dude like, nah, this is gonna end horribly. This dude like, nah, fan, don't fall for it. Look at them. They know what's going on. Look.
Figure, now she's just a kid again, just like him. And for a brief moment, it feels like the stars have finally aligned. In Too Young, they goof off together in the castle.
You're so spice.
She leans on his shoulder. They hold hands. For the first time ever, it seems like PB actually feels the same way Finn does. And that's the cruelest part. Because it's not that she didn't care, it's that she wasn't ready before. And when she is ready, it's temporary. PB as a 13-year-old is fun, impulsive, and rebellious. She admits she likes being a kid, as she never got to act like one. But the tragedy...
You see, I know that's like for me. When people seem like they like you, people seem like they're with you all together, and it's like the fact that it wasn't ready. Oh, I'm sorry, you don't feel it. It just hurts, you know. It's complicated in more ways than one, you know.
Is baked into the premise. She can't stay 13. The Candy Kingdom needs an adult ruler, and when Finn suggests there could be another way than her being older again, she says something telling.
No, Finn. There's only one way. I just didn't want to have to do it.
That's the line that hits the hardest. She didn't want to, but
See, it's weird, because it proves for some reason she likes Finn. She likes being a kid, and she had no choice, but then she just pushes Finn emotions off. You know how complicated that is? You know how wickedly evil... Did she just use him? Was she just playing with his emotions this entire time? You know how depressing and heartbreaking that is? It just hurts a lot, you know?
responsibility demands sacrifice. So the clock ticks louder and louder throughout the episode, until eventually the time has come. They share one last heartfelt conversation as kids.
And I wish I could stay like this with you, but...
She gives him one final kiss, and then just like that, she's gone. Not physically, but emotionally. She stands a little taller, smiles a little differently, and...
See, they literally kids. She liked him. She was in love with him. I don't get why the writers wrote this. I know they wanted to push a bubblegum and Marceline thing, but they had no reason to do this. Finn was like 13 here. Real 13-year-olds don't do that at all. Most people don't find their first real relationship until high school. And it's nothing like this. This is just wickedly deceitful and evil. It's just, hurtful.
The distance between them that had seemingly vanished is right back where it started. When Finn asks if they can keep hugging, she responds,
Finn, you silly. That was like 5 years ago. You really gotta move on.
She says it playfully, but the look on her face, the way she walks away, the little sigh at the end, it says everything. And Finn, he doesn't fight it. He just sits there. It doesn't help that throughout all these situations, Jake is still there to give Finn advice. It just isn't always good advice.
Let me share with you a little secret on how to win the heart of a princess. Not easy, but you have to be persistent.
So, Finn stays persistent.
Yeah, man. I see what you're saying. Thanks, Jake.
Because even if PB gently pushed him away, she didn't slam the door shut. And to a teenage heart, that's all it takes. In Wizard Battle, Finn cheats to win PB a prize, and she kisses him on the lips, their first real kiss. Which, considering Finn is still about 14 and PB is 18, or 1,000 years old canonically, is a little weird. Luckily, it was also their last one on the lips. Though that's not something we knew at this point, so it still doesn't feel like closure. The slap that follows muddies the message. Was it affection? Punishment? Both? Finn doesn't know. We don't know.
You see, she had no reason to do that. It was just, she knows just like a 14-year-old kid here. You're essentially a grown adult. You're not 18, you're 1,000 years old. You actively chose to mess with a teenage kid emotions like that. You know how wild that is? Yeah. Play.
PB does seem to know, but isn't all too obvious.
She
So,
doesn't
Finn
care.
keeps searching for clues, for patterns, for signs that the door might still be cracked open. He can't let go because of the inconsistencies in her communication, and that hurts. In What Was Missing, we learn he still carries a clump of her hair from episode To Cut a Woman's Hair. He treats it like a relic, proof that what they shared wasn't just in his head, and we see that clump of hair one final time in Incendium. In that episode, Finn gets his heart broken, this time for real. After PB has Jake rest on her lap, Finn makes an attempt to put his head on her lap as well, but she pushes him away.
Come on, Finn. Don't be weird.
Because, well, that's dog stuff. And for the first time, Finn gets the hint. There is no them.
It could be the first time. This could be also the first time where PB sees him as something more than a pet, not wanting to keep messing with his feelings, but also pushing him out because she generally didn't feel the same way, or she was confused herself. That could have marked the first time she quit treating him after the whole 13-year-old thing. She quit treating him as, a pet. It could mark that also. It could show a little bit of growth. That she actually, this could be the first moment where she actually begun to quit, trying to manipulate and control him in general.
It was all just him. To cope with his own feelings of sadness, he sings All Gummed Up Inside, a song that's not just about heartbreak.
Why do I keep trying if I can't keep her?
It's about knowing the person you want isn't coming any closer, and never really did. That's what finally pushes him toward someone new, though not in the healthiest way. He meets Flame Princess, and for the first time in a long time, he feels wanted. Now, that whole relationship is already covered in another video, so I'm skipping over it for now. If you want to learn what that relationship taught him, I'll put the link to it in the description. Let's continue the bubblegum arc that's not over yet. Just because Finn moves on doesn't mean he's over it. In Your Footsteps, a couple episodes after meeting Flame Princess, Jake jokingly refers to PB as Finn's ex. Finn instantly corrects him.
She's not my... We never went steady.
And that hesitation says everything. Because when something was never official, it lingers longer. You don't get closure. You just get a collection of almosts. And in Burning Low...
I feel that so much. Technically, I did have something similar to Finn. And I know what it's like. I technically still don't have closure. And every time she just told me she doesn't really care. It was 2 relationships, actually. Every time she told me she doesn't really, both of them told me they don't necessarily care about me. They never really care about me at all. They never felt good with me. This one girl said, one of my ex, she said, I treated her like snow in a thunderstorm or a rainstorm. And I went through a bunch of possibilities of like, what could that mean? What could that possibly do? But at the same time, that's not necessarily closure, because she turned around and told me she felt better with somebody who necessarily abuses her over me. And that was the most hurtful thing. Like, I never thought I could feel that amount of pain. That was the most hurtful encounter I genuinely, in my entire life, that was the most hurtful thing I've been through, like, ever. And this other girl, I told her how I actually felt, and she turned around and told me, well, that's not really my problem. I don't really care when it's narcissism. It was pure narcissism. She legit said, well, I don't really care. And I kind of detached myself away from everybody, and I still have these weird moments where I don't talk to people for months. I don't try to make a little bit of communication, and I refuse to reach out to people because I don't necessarily know how. But I know what it's like. He's right, it is like a connection almost, where I never really have closure, or the closure I needed, nor the closure I want. I kind of just blocked them and moved on. And I still think about it over and over. The words they say, like the words they said to me, right? The words they said to me, right? And what they said, sometimes it just replays in my head over and over again. And then the good memories she had, the good moments she had, it constantly replays over and over again, which makes it hurt even more. And it's like an endless loop of not knowing how to move on, or not knowing what you actually were. Rather, you was actually in a committed relationship, or it was just a situationship, or it was some disrupted or disrupted friendship you thought was a relationship in the beginning, and it's something you don't necessarily recover from. What the heck is that? But anyway, it's complicated. I'll move on.
All of those feelings come boiling back up. PB hears from Jake that Finn's been spending time with another girl, and at first she seems pleasantly intrigued. Until Jake drops the name.
Flame Princess! Who's hanging out with Flame Princess?
What?
Suddenly, she's concerned. She doesn't say anything, just quietly slips away. The next day, PB returns. She's not smiling anymore. She warns Finn and Jake that Flame Princess's elemental matrix is unstable, that kissing her could trigger a catastrophic reaction, that this isn't just teenage romance, it's world-ending potential. However, Finn leaves before she can finish,
Jake, Flame Princess is waiting for me. I'm gonna bounce out.
leaving PB with only one option that she has left. Jake, but he fell asleep during her whole explanation.
Bruh.
Will you tell him why he can't see Flame Princess anymore?
Oh, I see what's going on here.
So, without any further knowledge of the situation, Jake immediately does the one thing PB didn't ask for. He reads into it, leading to Jake telling Finn that PB is jealous of his relationship with Flame Princess.
She doesn't want you to see Flame Princess anymore. She's crazy jealous.
And Finn wants that to be true, because it means the feelings weren't one-sided, that maybe, just maybe, PB had felt something too all along. The next day, PB checks in with Finn.
Oh, well, speaking of Jake, did he explain everything to you?
She wants to make sure he understands the warning, that,
His responsibility demands sacrifice.
and sometimes when you care about someone, the right thing isn't holding on, it's pulling back. But Finn isn't listening. Not really. He thinks she's finally saying what he's wanted to hear for so long, that she had feelings for him, wanted to be with him, kiss him, but had to put her kingdom first. So he explodes.
I was in love with you!
He tells her how he was in love with her all this time, and how she didn't show any obvious signs of reciprocating those feelings. And now, just now, when he's about to move on, she comes back.
You're gonna build me up all over again! Well, I'm done! I'm done.
And PB just sits there, silent, not correcting him, not confirming anything, just letting him speak. Because what can she say? Later, when Jake brings it up again,
You heartless monster. Do you have any idea how much he's cried over you?
when he pushes her about being jealous and how Finn deserves to be happy, PB finally snaps.
This isn't about some petty love triangle.
That's the moment that reverts it all. No feelings, not jealousy, just responsibility as always. She didn't want to ruin Finn's happiness. She wanted to protect the world of Ooh, and instead, she became the villain in a story she never wanted to be a part of. After burning low, it should be over. PB made her position clear. Finn made his peace, or at least he tried to. He's with Flame Princess now. He says he's happy. But something's still off. In You Made Me, when Lemongrab lashes out at PB, Finn throws himself in front of a sonic blast to save her. No hesitation, no second thought. It's not a romantic gesture, but it feels like one. He still sees her as someone worth protecting at any cost, even now. And in Reign of...
I don't necessarily see as it's a Finn. Look, Finn is a good person. He's a literal hero, and he would do that for anyone. If someone was getting hurt, he wouldn't hesitate to throw himself in the limelight in order to keep him safe. In order to keep them safe. That's something I don't necessarily agree with. Because Finn, he's a hero. He would have did that for anybody in general.
Gunter's, that emotional confusion shows up again, this time in Finn's own words. He picks up a dating book called Mind Games and starts trying to act more mysterious. Why?
I keep him in a state of confusion. That way, I've always got options in case Flame Princess doesn't work out.
Because even while dating Flame Princess, he wants to keep his options open, just in case. He claims he's over PB, but his action...
His Flame Princess relationship was doomed from the beginning. Now that I'm older, I know what he meant by that. Yeah, that relationship, my boy, that was never going to work out ever. It was horrible. Yikes.
Actions don't believe him, and neither does his subconscious. In King Worm, Finn dreams that he and PB are married. Later again in All the Little People, the illusion returns. He toys with miniature versions of everyone he knows, including himself, including PB. And he forces little PB to kiss little Finn. He's doing exactly what we'd be doing if we were 14 with a VR headset and some dolls. He says he's just experimenting, but we know what this really is. Wish fulfillment. This is what one-sided love looks like when it lingers too long. When the story ends, but the fantasy doesn't. When the person you loved is still around every day, still kind, still beautiful, still herself, but no longer yours. And never really was. So how can you deal with that? When the fantasy won't leave, even when you know it's over? What does Finn do, and what can we learn from it? That lesson is in Too Old, and it changes everything. Just before that episode, Finn messed everything up with Flame Princess, leading to their breakup. So he bounces back. He visits the Candy Kingdom and gets caught up in PB's political drama with Lemongrab, but instead of adventure or heroics, or even affection, Finn finds something he's never really felt with PB before: distance. He makes small talk at dinner like he always does, but she doesn't talk back. He tries to break the tension, tries playing a prank again on Lemongrab just like they did when they were both 13, thinking it would rekindle old fires.
Pranks, like old times.
Finn, no, that's really... Okay, yeah. We'll pull a prank, like old times.
Which didn't work out. Bubblegum is already miles ahead, focused on diplomacy, responsibility, leadership, and for the first time, Finn sees it. Really sees it. She's not the girl from Too Young anymore. She's not sneaking off to pull pranks, hold hands, or lean on his shoulder just because it feels nice. She's a ruler, a scientist, an adult in ways Finn isn't. Not yet. And maybe never was.
Your plan? But I thought we were having fun together.
Finn, I have citizens who need me. I can't always treat everything like a little boy game.
It's awkward, quiet, and painful in that grown-up way where no one yells, no one fights. They just realize they've become different people. This is the episode where the spell breaks.
I think I learned something.
Go on.
Well, I'm thinking maybe age isn't just a number. Maybe older people, really are different. You know? Like, less fun inside.
Finn starts to understand that the PB he fell for, the fun-loving teenager who said she liked him, who kissed him once when she was 13, doesn't exist anymore. Or maybe she never did. Not in the way he thought. And that's okay. Sometimes we fall for an idea of someone, the version of them that exists in our head. And Too Old is when Finn realizes he was in love with someone who had already moved on. She still cares for him, of course she does, but not like that, not anymore. And for the first time, that truth starts to sink in. The fantasy fizzles. Not with a fight, not with a kiss, but with a quiet goodbye. And that's the moment Finn grows up just a little bit more. A moment you might have experienced as well, when you finally see someone for who they are now, not who they were when you first fell for them, not who you created in your head as the person they might become. The spark fades. Not out of bitterness, but because you both kept growing and you weren't growing in the same direction. It's a hard truth to swallow, because we're taught to fight for love, to hold on, be persistent, never give up. But sometimes, growth means letting go. Not because the love was fake, but because it was real, and real things change. Maybe it's the friend who drifted away after school, the person you once thought was the one who's now a stranger, or the crush you held onto for way too long, hoping they'd feel the same if you just tried a little harder. Like Finn in Too Old, there comes a moment when you realize you're chasing a version of someone who doesn't exist anymore. And worse, maybe you never really knew them in the first place. You just loved what they represented. And that's okay, because that moment when you stop chasing and start accepting, that's the first step towards growing into who you're supposed to become. This growth doesn't happen all at once. Lingering memories and thoughts can echo, come back in dreams, or even in songs that make you think about that person again. Moments when you think you've moved on, until you realize part of you still wonders, what if? We see the same thing happen at the end of Breezy when feelings come crashing back. Finn is lost, emotionally numb, sleepwalking through a search for meaning, mostly through distraction. But during the final duet, Love, something strange happens. Breezy is replaced by Princess Bubblegum, and for a few quiet, haunting lines, they sing together. It's brief, symbolic, but powerful. Because even now, after everything, part of Finn's heart still loops back to her. Not because he's in love, but because he's still healing. And that's what makes the Pajama War so refreshing. It's the first time in a long time where we see Finn and PB just hang out. No stakes, no kingdom crisis, no kisses or confusion.
Hey, you want to ditch the party and go for a walk?
What? Really?
It's been a while since we just hung out, you know?
Just two people in pajamas, joking, talking, spending time together like friends, equals. PB's not distant, Finn's not pining. They're relaxed, comfortable. And for the first time, it doesn't feel like one is chasing the other. There's no romantic tension, just mutual respect.
Thanks for showing me around, PB. I've enjoyed just hanging out.
Me too.
And that might be the healthiest moment they've ever shared. It says, we've both grown. We're not what we were, and that's okay. By the time we reach Come Along With Me, the story is quiet, simple, peaceful. PB is with Marceline now. Finn has his own path with his own peace. And when they meet again, PB even gives Finn a kiss on the cheek, and there's no awkwardness.
I'll see you tomorrow, okay?
See you tomorrow.
You're getting tall. Good night.
No unspoken tension, just warmth. Because this was never really a romantic love story, it was about a growing up story. About learning that not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay the way you imagined. About how romantic love isn't always answered in the way that you want, but that doesn't make it meaningless. And about how letting go doesn't erase what once mattered. It just means you're ready to move forward, and that not every small piece of attention means you have to start dating someone. And Finn finally learns this as well.
No, I guess I haven't learned that. I guess I still have a little bit more to. I guess I have a little bit more to grow, you know. For things you don't imagine, you only imagine people as they were and not how they are now. You don't see how you yourself change and how they change. I mean, I suppose I grew up because it feels like people around me, my life somewhat got better and their life somewhat got, worse. But at the same time, my life, I I would isolate myself. I isolate myself from everyone. I don't talk to people for months on end. And to me, it feels like nobody necessarily cares because no one reaches out. I mean, I don't reach out at all. But with me, nobody asks, yo, Amy, are you okay? Anything's going on? You good, my boy? Nobody really did anything, and it's just, me, and I just kind of sit here. But I suppose I have a lot more growing up to do necessarily, and I have to learn to kind of, just exist in the moment and just exist as if opens up a lot of deep rooms. But that video hit deep. But I hope you all enjoy. I really do. Hope y'all come back for a second video. Like, subscribe, do whatever you want. But I love y'all. Peace out. I don't love you anybody. At least I think. But peace out.